Hi, everybody. My name is Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of Watch collection. Today, what I want to talk about is a little different than what I usually talk about. It's about watches, and it's about how Lyrique created, working with Agenhor, a movement for a what we'll call it's Heure Zoulou, or Zulu Hour in English. And it's a watch that is, we had a number of things we wanted to do. We wanted to have a sports watch and for pilots and flying. Like there's motor sports and water sports and all kinds of things like that. This is for air sports. We wanted to make the watch with Art Deco streamlined style from the 1930s we had in mind. We included a hand for Zulu time. Zulu time is basically GMT time, but it's used by pilots universally. So that if I want to leave at 8 o'clock, I've got a 8 o'clock a.m. my time. I might have to add, like, let's say 5 hours or 6 hours to it. So I, instead of saying 8, I might say something like 1,200 hours, which would be the GMT or the Zulu time, or that's what Zulu means. You'll hear it and see it a lot. Now we in order to do that, we had to have the 24-hour. Now, back in the 30s, that we were having this in the sort of the air races, that wasn't as necessary. Today, we have a very complex airspace. I used to fly, and we had to deal with all kinds of different, what are called TACs and things like that, tactical air space, and God knows what else. Anyway, and finally, the retrograde hands, we wanted to have both for the Zulu hand and for the second. So this is the story, the first step in watchmaking, especially as far as Lyrique is concerned, is we start with the movement, because the movement is the soul of the mechanical watch. So let me get started and sort of the story that goes with it. Now, this really started for me several years ago when I got a Harry Winston by retrograde. And at the time when I got it, I wanted to find out all about the movements. And I got a hold of a guy from Gerard Perregaux, and he told me about how they had made the basic movement, but they didn't make the retrograde. And this was made by Agenhor. Now, actually, this was made, I think, in the 80s, and a gentleman by the name of Jean-Marc Viderec, he and his friend Roger Dubuis were working for Harry Winston, making some different parts for them. And so I contacted Agenhor, and Nicholas Viderec got a hold of me, and he sent me this information. And the thing that fascinated me the most was that the way that the retrograde worked, the second hand would go down, then pop back up to the top, and then the day of the week hand every day it would go up to another day of the week and then pop back up again. And I was curious, well, how did they do that mechanically? Well, the way a snail cam works is ingenious and simple at the same time. Here in this diagram I made, the snail cam is called a snail cam because it looks something like a snail shell. And as it goes around, and there's some kind of pointer or wheel or something that slides along the outside of the cam. And when the cam reaches a certain point, the arm of the that's following the cam goes down, and this flips the retrograde hand back. And then as the cam keeps turning, the pointer slides around and the retrograde hand keeps going like this. Uh, so this is what happens when it hits sort of what we'll call the jump, the steep part of it. The arm is pushed inwards, and the on the other end of the arm is the retrograde hand, and so it pops back. And so that's how it works. It's essentially it's sort of a neat thing. Now there are other ways that retrogrades work. This is simply one way, and one I thought, well, this would be a great thing to have in our watch, because we're going to have a Zulu arm, and we don't want to have it confused with the hour hand or anything else. We want it to have its only look. And the other thing, part of it would be a retrograde second hand. This would be out of the way and sort of make it a little more lively, with the old second hand going back and forth. Every 30 seconds, it makes a 120-degree arc and pops back. Now, and as our watch developed, now Agenhor developed this watch for us, and they had a number of different people working on it. The originally there was a guy named with Guy Dubois Ferret. He started it. He started making a movement for Agenhor. Worked at Agenhor, and then it was finished up by Maximilien de Blasi. He's another watchmaker at Agenhor. Agenhor has this incredible history that was started by Jean-Marc Viderec. By the way, too, Jean-Marc Viderec was the first ever watchmaker to receive Watchmaker of the Year. This was an award given by the GPHG, the Grand Prix d'Horlogerie de Genève. This was back in 2007. Anyway, this is the basically who we're working with, and the dual snail cam, how they worked. I tried to show it here. You have on the one hand, on the left there in blue, you can see the direction, everything of the cam, and in the smaller picture you can see the pointer that points to it, and as it goes around, it slides and then pops back and then back again. We'll take a look at that in a second, see how that works. And then on the hour hand, this is working with a single snail cam. The second hand works with a double snail cam. You can see the blue one, how it has the drops on two sides, whereas the what I'll call the regular snail cam just has a drop on one side, and then it's got the the I don't know what you'd call it, the arm poking in there that regulates the hand, the retrograde hand. Now, here's sort of a wider view of the AGH-6850. This is the movement that Agenhor developed for us. And here you can see, again, you can sort of look at it. This is looking at the front side of it. And you have the two arms going to the snail cams, one going to the center of the movement, and the other one going down to 6 o'clock. If you look down at 6 o'clock, you'll see how that arm that touches the double snail cam, how it reaches down to the bottom. What it's doing at the bottom down there is where you have the second hand going back and forth, and then up there around right off of 3 o'clock, you can see where the snail cam is, but then the arm for it reaches into the center, so it's going to be part of the center of the movement. Here's a picture of the hands. Don't look like this. This will give you an idea of where it is. In the center, you have three hands. You have the hour hand, the minute hand, and then the second time zone, which is the Zulu hand, because Zulu goes to the Zulu Hour. And then at the bottom, there's the retrograde, 120-degree retrograde for the second hand. The second hand isn't going to be that big. None of these they're simply put there to show you where they are relative to the rest of the movement. Now, if we flip it over on the back, we can see, so it looks like a pretty typical, excuse me, you can't see the cams and everything from the back because they're all on the front side of it. From the back side, though, this is a case back, what it's going to look like, the part that covers the movement, and then this will be under a glass case so we can see it. And you can see you can't see as much as the balance wheel, but it's over there where it has underneath the Agenhor pit regulator. The Agenhor pit regulator is a special, it's a patented property that belongs to Agenhor. The rest are the different gears that you'll see, part of the gear train, the winding gears, and so forth. Anyway, now, so is the soul of the watch that is going to be known as Heure Zoulou. It's a French term. In English, it means the Zulu Hour. Anyway, so this is something a little different from our usual one, but I thought you might be interested in how anybody who's working on making a watch, especially one with an original movement, what kind of process or something about the process, so you'll understand a little more about watchmaking. Anyway, this is an opportunity to subscribe if you like, and until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.